everybody. This is the Splinterlands Town Hall, and this is the voice of Aggro. One of the founders. I'm the CEO, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I think this is going to be the biggest audience that we've ever had in one of these town halls, and I'm excited for it. Joining me today is a gentleman you might know of. His name is Matt, and Matt is the other co-founder of Splinterlands. Matt, do you want to say hi?
Hey, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. I know I'm not on every town hall, but I try to make it for the big important ones, and this I think falls under that category.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty big one for us. There's two main topics today. We have the RiftWatchers, pack edition that's coming out, and we also have Tower Defense coming out. So that's a lot. These are two major projects. I think our plan today is we're going to go start talking about the RiftWatchers pack set. And so, Matt, can you kind of kick us off and just like super high level? What is RiftWatchers? How is it different from Chaos Legion? And what are the biggest differences that we're going to see?
Yeah, I mean, ever since it started with the launch of the Dark Energy Crystals token back in 2019, we kind of introduced two sort of different sets or types of card pack sets. There was kind of the main edition, which was like Alpha, Beta, Untamed, Chaos Legion, and then we introduced sort of these like mini sets, which were the Essence Orbs and the Asmodee dice, and now for the third one is RiftWatchers. And the idea for the main sets is that that's the primary way that the company makes revenue and keeps building the game and everything that we do. But the mini sets are there specifically to just give value back to the ecosystem and to the asset holders. So initially that was through the Dark Energy Crystals token, but now for the first time it's going to go into the SPS token now that exists for the first time that we've done a new mini set.
So is the revenue? Where does the revenue from which RiftWatchers go?
So RiftWatchers, first of all, can only be purchased with SPS tokens and will require vouchers. And vouchers will be burned as always. And all of the SPS tokens will go to the SPS DAO, which we just recently launched the voting system for. So that means it's not revenue for the company. So all the SPS tokens that are being put in to buy, or that will be put in to buy RiftWatchers packs, go into a fund that's ultimately controlled by all the token holders, and that's all of you. And via proposals, the token holders will be able to decide what to do with those funds. Burn them, spend them, convert them, whatever you can think of, really.
All right. So that how many packs are in this, and then what's the price per pack?
Yeah. I mean, just first of all, there's a post on the Splinterlands blog on PeakD or other Hive front ends where you can read all this if you don't catch it right now. But there's going to be 3 million packs in total, and they're going to be $5 per pack, again payable in SPS tokens at the current market price, plus one voucher. And it's not just the pre-sale, but every pack, including bonus packs, will require one voucher. So that means there's 3 million packs. That means there's going to be 3 million vouchers burned over the life of this set.
Why did we do that? What's the impetus for making it so that every pack requires a voucher?
It's part of the same reason why they're only purchasable in SPS. I mean, the whole idea here is that all the value from this edition goes to the SPS token and SPS token holders. So that's just part of it. Now the part of buying the packs with SPS, liquid SPS, is great. It encourages people to get liquid SPS and spend it into the DAO. But the flip side with the vouchers is rewarding people who have held and staked SPS. Vouchers sort of represent SPS stake day. And so, it's someone who's just come in at the last minute and thinks this is cool and buys a bunch of SPS. Well, that's not all that's required. There's also value going to the people who have held and staked SPS over the past year.
Yeah, I mean, I get pretty stoked thinking about, normally a business like ours, when we sell packs, we would be making revenue. And in this case, that's not how this works. In this case, the DAO is receiving the lion's share, but also like any community member that's been staking these tokens is getting paid a portion of the pack sales, right? Like if you got the voucher and you sold it on the market to let somebody else buy the pack, you got paid by the community for the packs that are being sold here. And I don't know. I don't think that I've ever seen any of the like mainstream Web 2 trading card games figure out a way to like allow the community to earn when packs are sold. I don't think I've ever seen that. So that feels pretty unique.
I'd say you've pretty much just described, if someone said define Web3, I mean, that's it, right? That's the difference. Instead of just a one-way street of value going from customers to corporations, and corporations are owned by, venture capitalists and funds and not the general public generally. In Web3, the idea is that while some of the value goes to the corporation in order to build the products, a lot of the value also just goes out to the users who are providing value into the ecosystem by playing, by creating content, by spending time, by buying and holding assets, all those things. So that to me is just a very simple definition of Web3.
So what's in this pack? Like why, I already have a max level deck of Chaos Legion. Why do I want this too? How does it fit into Wild and Modern? Like, why are these cards different, or how are they different?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could say that about any edition. We released Chaos Legion. Well, you had a bunch of Untamed or Beta or whatever. Why do you want Chaos Legion? Every card is unique. We try as hard as possible to have the cards fill different like niches that don't exist so far. So yeah, I mean, you don't need RiftWatchers. Definitely, you can still play and probably do pretty well without it. But especially with the various differing rule sets that can come up, and mana cap limits, a player who has the RiftWatchers cards will definitely have an advantage over a player who doesn't. And specifically, we talked about this more in the post, but the RiftWatchers cards are kind of a bit more high mana focused. We, like a few months back, increased the max mana cap for battles, and there's always also the unlimited 99 mana cap. And that was kind of like a niche that wasn't really filled. And we felt like a lot of times in the very high mana cap battle games, there wasn't a lot of options. There was just a relatively small number of high mana cards. And you just kind of had to pick those, or you're just losing out on a lot of value on your team. So this is going to be a much more high mana focused set. And, a lot of really powerful cards. There's one new ability that's called Fury, which is going to allow monsters with the ability to do double damage to targets that have the taunt ability. And RiftWatchers also introduces a number of new taunt monsters. So that'll be kind of an interaction, an interesting sort of rocks, paper, scissors mechanic where people might be more inclined to use taunt. And then, other people might be inclined to then start using the Fury cards to counter that, and vice versa. And we'll see the meta shift. It's going to include 6 epic summoners. So it'll be the first time we've had a set of like a full set of epic summoners since the beta edition. And they're all going to be 4 mana summoners, 1 from each element. And they'll feature abilities with some stat buffs and debuffs mixed in, but they'll be sort of similar to the dice summoners, where they give all friendly monsters a particular ability. And I think we may be able to show off some of those and the actual stats for them today on the town hall.
Nate, do you have any? Nate is our creative director or over here for Splinterlands. Nate, do you have a little bit of eye candy that players might want to see for these?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Now it's already been shared before, but for those of you wondering what Matt's talking about, a Fury ability, and you weren't on the last town hall or two, then there's your Fury ability. And then something else that you guys have already seen, which I'll share just because we're talking about summoners, is for those of you who haven't seen this wallpaper already, 3 of those what we call rune mancers up on the deck of the Riftwatcher ship are summoners, and then So some summoners are affiliated with the RiftWatchers and other ones are not. Some fun that we have, and sometimes I like to do this is share, kind of like the progression of the artwork. And as many of you know who've been around since the alpha beta days, we have strived to always push ourselves and push the envelope of what's.
Oh,
we lost Nate's sound.
He dropped out. That's terrible.
Nate got silenced.
Artwork came
Oh
from.
my gosh.
He's back. Nate, are you back?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost you temporarily. So there's a set. So you can see some of the progression there.
And this is Rune Mancer Flore. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll have to ask the narrative team. And here's the final rendered version. And she is one of
my God.
I think the Earth Summoner. So it's great because I'll go to the art team and they'll create something. And it might be like an elf, like this one. And I'll be like, no, guys, no, come on. That just looks like a human with pointed ears. Or what's the difference between that and a Vulcan? I want an elf. I want the magic. I want to feel like she's looking into my soul. I want an ethereal, otherworldly beauty. That's what I want. And yet she has this metallic arm with RiftWatcher technology and stuff like that. And so I think the final output of that, they really pulled it out of their hat. I think they did a really great job on that.
I think that's a legendary monster in the Earth.
Oh, that's legendary monster.
Fernheart is the summoner.
Oh, Fernheart. That's the Viking looking shamanistic guy, I think.
Yeah. Should we share? I have the stats for Fernheart here.
There you
go. The Fernheart gives all friendly monsters the close range ability for Earth that has a lot of ranged attack, but also +1 health, which is kind of an Earth thing, high health. Just because the close range ability we felt was a little on the weaker side compared to some of the abilities that the other 4 mana ones had. We try to even them out from a game balance perspective.
Now, chat's moving pretty quick, but one of the questions I did see was how many cards does it take to combine these together?
It'll be the same amount as for Chaos Legion. So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the same amount as for the existing cards.
And what about for like CP or collection power and how much DEC? Is that also the same? Have we changed that?
Also all the same as Chaos Legion.
Okay. So is that really it feels like we've kind of settled in at Chaos Legion as being like, this is the balance that we're looking for mostly going forward. Do you think that's fair? Do you think some of that will change?
I mean, I think things are generally pretty good in that regard. But a lot of stuff does change. And ultimately, I'm definitely not going to say it's not going to change in the future. I mean, a lot of stuff changes all the time, so we'll see. But for now, it seems good.
Have we oh shoot, I just forgot my question. Yeah, so the artwork looks incredible. We have epic summoners in this. Are there other kind of like general things that trends or some other piece that you put in here while designing them? I guess is there a legendary for every splinter? Like what's the spread of cards?
Yeah, there's going to be there's going to be 2 legendaries for all the 5 kind of basic elements. One is going to be in the set from day 1, and the other is going to be the airdrop legendary. And then there's going to be 1 dragon legendary and 1 neutral legendary. And then this is actually a good segue. The second dragon legendary is going to be the limited edition promo card, similar to Dr. Blight. So that's kind of the main advantage for buying the packs early in sort of the pre-sale phase before they're openable and before the set has been released into the game, is a chance to receive that limited edition promo card, which I think Nate might have some info on that one if he feels like sharing.
Sure. And before we get too into it, for those of you guys who are just listening to the town hall purely on Discord, I'd probably encourage you to hop on a Twitch or YouTube or one of our streaming channels, at least for the next few minutes. In a few minutes, I'll probably share with the multimedia and the art team, pretty much all the creative side, put together a fun little trailer to kind of celebrate the whole RiftWatcher thing. So if you want to see it, then I'd recommend kind of hopping over to see the visuals when the time comes. But in the meantime, yeah, we could talk about the. Are you talking about the promo card, Matt?
Yep, the promo card.
Okay, so yeah, the promo card, and for those of you guys who haven't been kind of like paying attention to the lore, everything's kind of coming to a head in terms of bringing the RiftWatchers into the Splinterlands. Here's the last lore that was written up. I think that Scott and Ashley, who were on the previous town hall, did a great job with that story. But it is basically, that story kind of tells the tale of like the fact that the Chaos Legion came. They pretty much conquered everything. One of the last remaining civilized aspects of the natural inhabitants of the world was, of course, the dragons, and the lands over where the dragons hang out. And that makes sense that they were the last to kind of like get conquered, and that story speaks a lot to that. And so going forward, it's kind of less of a war and more of an empire situation where the inhabitants of the Splinterlands are pretty much feeling like oppressed. They've been conquered. It's done. There's no more fighting. It's like they lost. What do we do? So the storyline that kind of leads into RiftWatchers, and I think we got a couple more stories to tell before RiftWatchers gets released, and you guys can follow that weekly story to kind of stay up to date on how that kind of plays out. But the promo card is going to be a pretty big deal in that it is the leader of the RiftWatchers, and to kind of celebrate that, here's a little wallpaper for you celebrating the leader of the RiftWatchers. Her name, it's a she, is Oshur, and she's pretty freaking cool. The card itself, when we talked to Matt, and Matt was equally interested in making sure that the card was as useful as possible and as niche as possible. We had proposed some stats and abilities, and we went back and forth, and I think he was of the mindset is, look, I really don't want to just do something that's been done before that's too similar to another card. And what we ended up with is, I think, something that'll excite people. It's a card that you're probably going to want to use as much as possible because it has that much utility and that much power behind it. So here you go, and I'll let Matt take it away after this to kind of speak towards the stats and all that stuff. But there you go. That is the promo card for the pre-sale, not to be found in any packs whatsoever.
Ooh, I didn't see it on the cool background there. See, this is why it's better when Nate shares cards than me. But yeah, anyway, it's a 7 mana, magic attack, dragon, legendary card. It has tank heal, it has resurrect, and it has reflection shield. So just like a really strong utility card of just like leading the RiftWatchers as that's what she's supposed to do, and she's making sure they stay healthy. She's bringing them back from the dead, and she's soaking up that extra blast or returned damage. And I should also mention, Reflection Shield was really meant to be a RiftWatcher's new ability. We just ended up kind of sneaking it in there when we added new reward cards last time. So that's another ability that'll be featured a little more heavily in RiftWatchers, is Reflection Shield. And I think that's a really cool ability, especially as far as card positioning goes. That's really important in there, especially in the rule sets where all the monsters get snipe or opportunity and things like that. So I think the positioning with the Oshur card is going to be really important there, to make sure she gets the most bang for the buck.
I also like the fact that you could look at her abilities, but the fact that kind of swayed me, because we went back and forth on the stats and her lore and who she is as a character. And I think what I think is great about it is that it's equally offensive as it is defensive and support. So it's like a support role, a healer role, also with a 3 magic attack. She packs a punch. So it's whether you want DPS or whether you want some support, she kind of offers both. So that's pretty cool. And she protects herself with that reflect. So magic reflect doesn't really affect her. So that's nice.
So there's only enough for 900 people to get a max level one of these. Does that sound right?
Well, there's I mean, not
There's-
necessarily, but like on average, because there's also a chance that every pack could get one, right? So it's not exact, but
Okay.
it sounds like roughly correct. I mean, they're going to be, it's a limited edition promo card. That's what limited edition.
Hey Matt, I
means.
think you have Inspire on your screen instead of the other ability.
Oops, wrong. Ignore that. Don't look at what I posted. That was wrong.
Waka waka.
But just replace Inspire with Reflection Shield, and that's
Okay.
what it was.
All right.
Sorry about the old image there.
So I think we'll have some more time to talk about RiftWatchers. I guess my last question is when does the pre-sale go live, and when can we expect that we can open up packs?
Sorry, I was just trying to fix my error. This is why we didn't post all the stats yet, because we're still in the process of getting that all done and getting the screenshots ready to share. But it is definitely Reflection Shield, not Inspire. Well, if you go on the website, you will see a cool countdown in the shop to the pre-sale going live, which should be next Thursday, September 15th, I think at 2 p.m. Eastern. And so that will be where you can just start purchasing the packs in that pre-sale phase. You won't be able to open them yet, but you'll be able to trade them or transfer them or send them to Atomic Hub on Wax or Hive Engine, Tribal Decks, that stuff. And then the plan, it is an estimate, obviously. We're going to try to hit it, but it may not happen, is that the full set will go live on September 27th, which is, I believe, a Tuesday, which will mean you'll be able to open your packs and get the cards and start playing with them. And then the airdrop for the limited edition promo card that you guys just saw will be either when the set goes live or when the first 500,000 packs sell out, whichever's later between those two. Sweet.
Okay. So that's a lot to go talk about. And normally that would be enough. That would be like, oh, I guess we're done for the day, because
Actually,
that's a huge
Aggie,
release.
did you want to show the trailer now or later?
No, we should. You were good to interrupt. Ron, are you capable of showing the trailer? I'm not sure you can talk to me. Oh, it sounds like a yes. So why don't if you have the trailer, why don't you go ahead and roll camera?
Amidst the chaos that has brought only darkness and despair, a small flicker of light may carry all the world's hope. The RiftWatchers are coming. And the Splinterlands will never be the same.
That's our lovely lady voice actress, Crofty.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great to hear her. So it's going to be even cooler if like you get a town hall shout out and Crofty's like calling your name and you're like, oh, I know her. She's the RiftWatcher lady. That'll be awesome. Good times. I think the people seem to dig it. So fine work to the creative crew. Yeah, I mean, there's just honestly, it's so hard to keep up with all the things that we're doing because we're going at a fast pace. Creative is freaking killing it. Dev team is killing it. Support team is killing it. We just need to keep like cranking this stuff out, and everybody's firing on all cylinders. So normally today that would be enough, and we'd all be excited and be thankful and be like, wow, that's a lot, and we're getting RiftWatchers, and that's great. The crazy news is that that's half of today's big announcement set. The other kind of accompanying piece of news is this entire separate game that we are building that's called the Splinterlands Tower Defense game, and that might get some more branding as we go, but that's what we're referring to it now as Tower Defense. And Hardpoint internally for the Splinterlands team is really like taken this on and not only done the CTO thing, but helped do some of the product management to go like bring this thing to life. And this isn't getting developed like a normal game or like the normal stuff here at Splinterlands. So I don't know, Hardpoint, can you kind of tell us what is the tower defense? And we have some partners on this called Double Coconut. Who are these homies? And just kind of give us the high level layout of what's going on here.
Thanks, Agrod. Yeah, so let's see. Back in Q1, when me, you, and Matt sat down in Philly, we talked about this concept that I had about an arcade where we had some more game experiences we could put on the platform, the Splinterlands platform. And really, the whole goal was we have this great NFT platform. Why can't we have more entertainment, more games, more genres on it? And we talked about it back then, and you guys were, into it. We're excited about possibilities. And so you guys let me go off and figure that out. So I reached out to David Fox, who's on here with us. And Rob is also on here as well. And both of them are joining us right now. So, hey, guys, are you there?
We're here.
Thank you guys for joining us. So me and David talked back at GDC. So this is quite a bit ago about, hey, would you guys be interested in helping Splinterlands build another game on our platform? And what was that like for you, David? What does that mean to you and Double Coconut?
Yeah, besides sneaking you into that party, almost getting kicked out. It was,
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, so we're a 10-year-old company that's been doing games, mobile games of all sorts for a while, but we've gotten into blockchain heavily over the last year or two. We've always been a fan of Splinterlands. Whenever we're looking for any design guidance, we look at Splinterlands. It's always been the best project out there. So it was awesome when we got to coordinate. I think we had a meeting of the minds, and ideas were gelling fast and furious. We really just were on the same wavelength, and I think we laid down the track pretty quickly for what's going to be an epic game.
One question I want to ask Matt real quick. Matt, you're a big fan of like the tower defense and particularly blockchain. What about tower defense lends itself to the blockchain really well?
Well, I would say I'm not particularly a big fan of the tower defense genre. It is a good genre, but my focus is definitely much more on the trading card genre. But I think, it's just a cool, popular, fun game. It's not like overly complicated. This is going to also be a PvE game, not PvP. So that's caters to a very different kind of audience or play style or mentality. And as far as blockchain, I think it just works very well with you using obviously assets, NFTs, and then for earning rewards and, picking that up and just kind of works well in that kind of game economy setup.
Yeah. There's a lot that we can build that leads to deterministic outcomes, and having that on the blockchain, I think, makes it so that we can have a trustless experience, and that tower defense is often played in rounds. This will work well for rounds and the kind of like different blocks we have. I think this is it's a good fit for blockchain and for NFTs. Hardpoint, why don't you tell us some, or like you and the Double Coconut team, tell us a little bit about gameplay, and I don't know if you guys have some eye candy you want to share, but to sort of like walk us through, what does this thing look like?
Absolutely. So the way really when we went and looked at genres of like what could we build, we really landed on tower defense. Really felt like it had a good fit inside our ecosystem. It's interesting. It has a good. I'm gonna drop some eye candy out here in our Discord channel. So I'm dropping kind of the last image of the one I've been teasing out this week. But yeah, so a lot of exciting things. And so when we kind of approached this concept, one of the ideas we had about how we could make this interesting is we wanted to make the gameplay fit kind of a Splinterlands auto battler style, but also bring in the tower defense. And so the concept that we're really shooting for is a preparation phase in tower defense where you design your strategy just like you kind of do with your cards in Splinterlands. You lay your towers out, you set all your spells up, you set your heroes up, and then you say, okay, this is my strategy, and then you see how it plays out. Now, you don't have to watch the whole battle play out. You can skip it or you can speed it up, but it's basically deterministic. And so your strategy versus the rule set is really kind of the core gameplay loop here. And that's really exciting because when you're first learning the game, you'll want to watch a lot of it. You'll, just like you do with Splinterlands, you want to watch how all the cards are interacting. You want to see how all the minions are doing and performing. And as you become better and better at the game, you'll be designing your strategy and you'll have a lot more knowledge. So you'll just move quicker through the game. So that's kind of really cool, kind of nod to some of our roots back in Splinterlands. Another kind of feature of this, and I don't know, Rob and David, I think this is a really fun concept that we came up with, is this whole press your luck concept. Maybe David, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I mean, to add on what Hardpoint's saying, we really want, we're trying to design the balance so that every NFT has a purpose at certain points, and you're going to kind of learn as you're playing how the level's laid out. Every single game you play could be slightly different, and it'll be kind of a learning process where you get your ass kicked, improve, upgrade the right towers, pick the right NFTs. And the whole notion with press your luck is as you get further and further through waves and up to bosses, there's going to be more and more rewards offered. And so you can leave with the rewards you got once you complete a wave, or you can press your luck if you feel confident, if you feel like you got the right deck, and go for the bigger rewards. So it's really going to be a game about kind of seeing how brave you are when you're faced up against the gates of hell.
I think that's really cool. And one of the cool things that I think about it, when you think about the reality that the rewards are really, and speaking of rewards, let's talk about that for 2 seconds. We're going to plan on putting up a governance vote shortly, and I'm going to get into that, but we'll get right to that. But I just want to say one more thing real quick, is that when you're playing the game and you're designing your strategy and you have these rewards and you're pressing your luck, it'll be one of the first games really where you're defending your crypto rewards. So this is like real value is at stake as you're fighting through this game and deciding to make strategic decisions. And I think that's going to make it much more of a visceral experience for players and much more emotional. It's not just going to be like, oh, I win or lose. Yes, I'm going to win or lose. It's you can keep going and you can keep pushing your luck with your rewards to see where it goes. And I think that's really exciting about it. But let's talk a little bit about rewards, because I think everybody here is really interested to find out how is this going to work inside our ecosystem. Well, I think I would like Matt, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about this governance vote that we're going to put up to the community here today, and what is the implications of that, and kind of give us your kind of thoughts.
Yeah. I want to start like a little higher level of like how this all came to be, because I think that's important. So obviously, like we have our hands full as a company, to say the least, with all the stuff that's going on, all the things in Splinterlands that we're doing. So we weren't just about to start making other games. Like, our kind of focus of our next game really internally is land. But what happened was, David and Double Coconut, they came to us and were like, hey, we want to, get into to do some more blockchain games, and we want to work with Splinterlands. Could we do something together? And, we both saw that as a really good opportunity as a way to add more games in addition to all the work we're doing internally on our internal projects. And so that's how this all came about. And so then the question is, okay, well, how does this work? There's just going to be this new game that's developed. Obviously, there's going to have to be, it's going to have to earn revenue, partly for Splinterlands, partly for Double Coconut for the development of it, and that's where all the new NFTs, which are like the towers and and their spells and heroes and things, will come in. But then also like fit it into the Splinterlands ecosystem, and ultimately everything that's added into the Splinterlands ecosystem should be, clearly very beneficial for Splinterlands asset holders. So, the first thing is there needs to be some type of rewards. And so one part is going to be you'll earn rewards of NFTs in the tower defense game, just like you earn rewards cards in Splinterlands. But we're also planning to add a reward pool of SPS. And so the question is, where does that come from? And that's what the governance vote that Hardpoint was alluding to. We kind of took a look at the system, and we realized, we initially had this pretty huge allocation just that was set for the team in the SPS white paper. and it's currently not really even close to all being utilized. So the governance vote that we're going to propose is to take a portion of the SPS tokens that are currently going to the team that aren't being utilized, and in my opinion, in retrospect, is way too much, and put it towards this new game. So we'll see. I mean, ideally, I would hope that the SPS token holders agree that would be a better use of those tokens. And then the flip side of that is if we're adding basically a new reward pool, a new SPS being given out to players, it needs to ultimately bring in more value than it gives out. And so that goes into the whole game design, where you're going to need to stake SPS in order to earn those rewards. So if you don't have any SPS staked in your account or at that point delegated to you, you won't be able to earn very many, if any, SPS rewards out of the game. So it give more value to staking SPS. There's going to be lots of items priced in Dark Energy Crystal tokens, some of them exclusively in DEC tokens, to provide more value to DEC, which then, indirectly gives more value to SPS. And also certain things will require voucher tokens, or will get discounts with voucher tokens, which is just, again, additional value to SPS. And then lastly, the thing I see many more questions about in chat here is that you will be able to stake your existing Splinterlands cards in the tower defense game. And I think a lot of the details are being worked out, but you'll be able to stake a certain amount of cards in your towers, and the higher level or the rarer or the older or gold foil cards will be worth more. So it's very similar mechanic to land in that sense, and it'll just be this new use for Splinterlands cards. So I don't think it's something that's necessarily going to be required, but in order to get more power, with your NFTs and do better in the game, the more more rare, powerful Splinterlands cards you have staked there is going to help. So that'll just be another pull for Splinterlands cards, especially older ones. You can use them in wild format battles. You'll be able to use them on your land, or you may decide to put them into the tower defense game. So it's just I think overall it worked out really well. Having Double Coconut come to us and say they wanted to do this, and just can add all this value to the ecosystem and to the asset holders.
And do
Yeah.
so. I just want to add that that's happening, but it's not like at a severe cost to the other projects, right? So, David and his team is an external third-party development company. So it's not like we are asking more from the same people that are here. There's some of that, but I would say that the bulk of the production is on a third-party development, and that should allow us to get out this other game, but not do so in a way that hurts our ability to, keep cranking away at land and get rank rewards out and all the things with validators that we want to do. This is a separate team adding separate and additional work to build out this whole ecosystem.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It's been a huge effort on their part, and our team has had very few. I've been really the most impacted, and there's been 2 or 3 other team members that have helped, but literally the DC team has been amazing. And David, how many people do you guys have over there at Double Coconut that have been working on the project for this last couple of months?
Yeah, I mean, we have about 75 folks total in the company, and about a third of the company is now going to be working on this game. So 30 odd, and I do mean odd people. So yeah, it's pretty.
Well, it's been great. And it's a real talent. Speaking of that, I want to drop some more concepts here. But I think one of the things that we were kind of touching on before I do drop some more art is vouchers. The team has been working really hard to add more and more utility into vouchers. And one of the things we're really planning on doing is there's several major ways in this new game where vouchers are going to be used. One of them is going to be we are planning that this game will have account-based progression, which means you won't be able to just buy your way to the end of the game. You're going to have to actually play through it. And the way we're going to gate that is through ingredients. We're calling them ingredients, but you'll earn ingredients every so often in the game. And those ingredients will be used to unlock difficulty levels. And difficulty levels will allow you to earn more rewards. So these ingredients, though, are account-bound. So you won't be able to just go buy them off the market. This is something that you'll have to actually earn and play. But there is a way for these account-bound an in-game voucher and DEC store, which will offer a rotating kind of supply of ingredients to help you kind of get over a little bit of a cliff, but it's not going to be a very large percentage of the overall that you'll need to progress. So our goal is to let vouchers be a discount to DEC purchases there. We're also planning that one of the big things for how to help mitigate, people are always concerned about bots or exploitation of the economy. So one of the big things that's going to be a change to the way the tower defense works is that the towers, spells, and heroes themselves are actually going to have their own ECR. It's not going to be at the account level. ECR is actually going to be at the card level. And I think this is going to be amazing because now the more cards you own means the more you can play and the more you can earn. And so truly we'll be shifting the needle away from just an account-based system to being more a card and asset-based system. And I think that's really exciting for the future of Splinterlands. I'm excited to see that get implemented. But also in kind of buried underneath there for vouchers is there will be when you stake your Splinterlands cards into the tower defense game, that means that those cards staked will not be playable, transferable, sellable, or rentable. Like you'll be tying up your cards into the game, and to get them unlocked, you have to wait a specific period of time. And one of the things that the team is exploring right now is using a combination of DEC plus a additional voucher for a discount to allow you to unstake it faster. So this provides another bit of utility for the voucher there, as well as DEC sync. We also are looking at several other things like recharging your ECR using DEC plus a voucher for discount. So what we're doing is literally every single thing inside the tower defense game, we're really looking at it to being for sale with our DEC token. And then if you are a SPS staker or you have licensed nodes and you're earning those vouchers are going to become very valuable because you're going to be able to use them to discount your DEC purchases inside tower defense. And that's going to be a constant thing where you'll be able to use those vouchers in a meaningful way to play the game, to move through the game progression. And so really, really excited about being able to have all of this new utility for vouchers inside this new experience. Very, very excited about that. And let me show you.
Comment real quick on the purchasing aspect of it again, because you mentioned all these things that can be purchased with DEC and vouchers or sped up or refresh ECR. This is similar to what we talked about earlier with the RiftWatchers sale, where that's not like revenue that comes to Splinterlands or Double Coconut. That'll only be from the initial sale of the packs of these new NFTs, but everything after that, everything kind of Hardpoint just talked about, will either be burned or go to the SPS DAO. So it's like you might be hearing like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff to buy. We're sort of getting nickeled and dimed for every single thing in the game, like a Clash of Clans style thing. And the answer is yes, except that all that nickel and diming goes back to the asset holders and goes back to the token holders. It doesn't just all go to the company. So, if you are, if you don't own any SPS or any of that, then yeah, you may not benefit from that. But if you do, then you should be happy and excited about all that potential for the players who do want to move up and get ahead faster. They're able to spend, they're able to burn those tokens, they're able to pay to the DAO that you're a part owner of for that. So I just want to make sure it's clear, like when we're talking about and saying these things that can be bought and things that are for sale, that like that's the way to look at it, and that's what we're going for.
Absolutely. And we're going to have a lot of details being posted later today. We have a post that just was so close, but we didn't get it all the way done. But we'll be posting an entire Peak D post shortly, and it'll have a lot of more details too that we don't cover in the thing. But while we're here, I wanted to drop a couple more pieces of artwork and then maybe talk with David a little bit about some of this stuff, a little bit more about the game. So the first image I'm going to drop here into our Discord chat is our victory screen. And this is all the things we're dropping are concepts and they can change. But I just thought you guys like to see what it kind of looks like when you win a wave and you have that option to keep going or retreat and take your earnings. So I think that's pretty excited. David, like any comments from you or Rob on this kind of victory screen here that you guys were really excited about?
It's going to look a lot cooler before we're done, but yeah, that's the right idea.
Awesome.
The thing
But
that's pretty exciting about
Sorry,
all this, the thing that I think is fairly exciting is that you're really not going to know what you're getting as you go into the particular wave. You could get a really tremendous reward that you want to just take right away, but that'll require you to quit and stop the adventure that you're on. So it really is up to the player, how you want to proceed or how far you want to push things.
Awesome. That was really exciting. I'm going to drop this other image in here, and then maybe we can just talk briefly about this. This is a couple of example towers that we have in mind. I was loving the creativity here. Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about like how many towers are we kind of thinking on launch? Are you guys thinking we can pull off?
Yeah, so we're targeting about 25 towers. Every tower will really be different. So you really have to be strategic, understand the benefits. Some are going to give you mana, some are going to give you healing, some are going to be magical attacks, some are going to be more targeted, fast arrows that hit one fiend at a time. So everything's going to be strategic. And then further, every tower will have several upgrade paths. So in the game, you'll be able to upgrade the tower, and if you'd like a certain aspect of the tower or need it, you'll have to really think that through, and you can upgrade each path. So, this is a web game, so we're not going to go crazy with tons of visuals, but as you can see, we're really making sure that it's going to hum in the web and look really cool as well.
Awesome.
Hardpoint, there's a whole bunch of questions around timing. Do you have the roadmap handy? Would you want to put that out there?
Let me do that. I'll drop that real quick because there's two different things I think that people want to hear. They want to know about the sale and what the details are there, and they probably want to know the timing. So I'm going to drop the roadmap out here so you guys can see. Remember, our roadmaps are all subject to change, and these things could change, but I'm going to at least give you guys an idea of what we're looking at. So I just dropped that roadmap out there in the Discord for you guys to take a peek, kind of get a little sneak in there with some towers in there. So as a kind of work with our own internal team and DC to kind of visualize some things there. But we're really targeting a Q1 beta launch, and that's where we think it'll be playable and everybody will start being able to jump in is really what we're targeting is Q1. And, assuming the pack sale goes well and everybody's excited about it, we have a huge roadmap of more content coming. And we'll probably spend a lot more time deeper into that content in future town halls, but really, really exciting here. Things coming up. And we're looking at, my hope is that by Splinterfest, David and myself and Rob are actually planning a whole session at Splinterfest to sit down and go even deeper into the game, talk about more, show more visuals, and really discuss it. So super excited about it coming up. I also wanted to say, talking about timeframes, we're shooting for the pack sale to go live on September 20th is our goal. Now, everything can change, but right now that's what we're pushing really hard to do. And when it goes live, we're planning selling 2 million TD packs with 250,000 of those packs available in pre-sale. And what does that mean? In pre-sale, that means that every pack in pre-sale will require a voucher. Packs will cost $8 or 8,000 DEC and require one voucher, which will give you a $3 or 3,000 DEC discount on the price. So what you're looking at is 250,000 packs for roughly $5 and a voucher for pre-sale. And pre-sale is going to be really exciting. We're going to be offering an exclusive promo hero that will be available, and she looks in concept something like this. And I just dropped some concept art. You guys have kind of seen her in some of those teaser pictures, but she's going to be our promo character, which will help you defend your rewards and strategize. But she's going to be limited edition, which will mean she'll only be available in the pre-sale. So if you aren't able to pick up a pack and get a chance of that drop or spend a certain amount, then you won't be, that character is going to be pretty locked up. You'll have to get it off the market from a fellow player. So really, really excited about that. So it should come out to be, if you have a voucher, you're looking at $5 for a pack. If you don't have a voucher in the general sale, it'll be available for $8 a pack.
And keep in mind that all of that is available. The tower defense is available through dark energy crystals, and they're currently trading at 670 splintoshis, which means that the market is giving you a 33% discount. So it's going to be set at 5,000 DEC and a voucher. So the the market is not charging you a full $5 per pack right now. As long as DEC is under peg, then the market's handing you guys a discount on tower defense packs.
And everybody's sort of, I think one thing people don't quite understand is how we give SPS stakers the advantage is making vouchers required, because vouchers only come through two means right now, which is if you stake SPS or if you have license nodes. So really vouchers are your kind of like your reward for being a staker, and you can turn around and use that. You can either sell it to somebody else and let them get that advantage, or you can use it and be able to purchase a pack before everybody else. So super exciting on that front. The other thing is I wanted to drop a couple more pieces of art here. And David and his team, here's a kind of some concept art for some of the towers as they level up. So we're really excited about using the similar leveling capacity that Splinterlands does, where you required to have cards and you merge cards together to level them up. And we're hoping to make those visuals of the higher levels be much more impactful. So you're going to see a lot more artistic changes in the game as the levels progress. David, so like with all this art, like how do you guys go through the steps of, I know there's kind of like a theme behind the towers for this first launch. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that and like the art direction part of it.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see from the art that Hardpoint shared, that tower, when it's all leveled up, kind of becomes a little bit alive. It has its own character. It's going to pound the ground and cause an earthquake, in addition to slowing things down normally. So really trying to make everything come alive, and the theme that the art team came up with wonderfully is somewhere in the Tim Burton, dark Halloween universe. Now that might just be a starting theme to start with, but our overall thoughts on the story is it's all about saving souls. There's basically all these souls at rest. You're responsible for stopping these evil monster souls that have been, turned monsters from stealing your souls. If you are able to defeat the monsters, you can actually grab their souls, and that's the reward that you're earning, is by grabbing their souls. You're filling your soul jar, leveling up, and also as a benefit, turning souls that are tortured into a peaceful state, which is nice. So that's kind of the lore we're playing with. This is all being modified and nothing final, but that's kind of the feel we're going for.
Yeah, thanks, David. The one thing we really didn't get to touch on just yet, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it's really exciting to me from a strategic element, because we have towers, we talked about heroes, but the one thing we haven't got to touch on is spells. And I was really excited about this. Is something you and the team had come up with, and I'm going to drop here's an example image of some spells. You guys saw some things there, but David, tell me what's going to be unique about spells and what the strategy behind spells are going to be, and why is this going to be different than other games out there in the market?
Yeah, totally. So in most games, what's called spells are really just special abilities you drop anywhere on the map to get rid of a particularly nasty set of fiends. Our spells are going to be a lot more strategic and tactical. You're going to be, at least the thought is now when we're prototyping this all, but the thought is you will tie the spell to a tower. So you actually have to pick which spell to insert the tower, to insert into which tower. That'll give the tower extra abilities. It'll make the spell activate around that tower's radius. And further, you'll be able to overlap two spells, and together, where those spells overlap, there'll be added synergies, which will be kind of surprising and emergent. We may or may not talk about all of them, but you'll see really cool stuff happen when you combine the spells. So that's the thought. That's the thought.
Well, I love that. And like you said, we're planning on including things that players won't know about. So there will be some interesting things for players to kind of explore in the game and uncover some of the our dark humor here, as you will, as we move forward with the game. So really excited about that. David, about heroes, like we were talking about kind of a roadmap of content. So maybe we should talk about that, like looking forward. Assuming the game does well, like what were we kind of thinking as far as launching additional content for the game? What was your guys' ideas on that front? And these we don't have to commit to these. We'll just say that these are ideas that we have. So we're just kind of throwing them out for thoughts.
So definitely all sorts of cosmetics in terms of the towers, as well as additional towers and additional themes and additional difficulty levels. So all that will scale quite a lot, and there's so many variables to play with to make it really compelling. But on the heroes front, we picture that as a promotional card, promotional NFT that will come out every few months, every month if we get to that. And each hero will have a really different ability. So it will heroes, for those who haven't played tower defense with them, are basically special type of unit you could place anywhere on the road. So wherever you have your choke points where a lot of enemies are coming, you could place a hero strategically. The hero can kind of take care of stuff. Every hero will not just shoot stuff and kill stuff. Heroes will also add some very special ability, like potentially making all the units walk slower, or go in reverse time, or teleport, or be poisoned that pass it. So we're playing with a lot of different things. Definitely launching with one hero to start with as a starting point, and she'll be mega powerful. You'll want to keep her alive as long as you can.
Awesome. Thanks,
Looks
David.
like
Really
Cat Rain is already a big hit.
I love
Good
Cat
for the
Rain. I'm
chat.
surprised Biz. I don't know if Biz has commented yet, but I'm sure he will love Cat Rain as well.
No, it hasn't been made clear, but can you destroy my towers in this game, or am I always going to own them? Are my towers at risk of loss?
Go ahead, David.
Yes, so they will be tied to energy, so they will run out of energy and will need to be refreshed or recuperate, but never destroyed. So, and then when you put them on the map, they also will last as long as you do. So you can keep upgrading them, and the higher level your tower, the more upgrade paths and the more upgrades it has.
All right.
Cool.
Well, one of the interesting things I think too that I really want to highlight to the community about tower defense is that one of the other subtle nods to Splinterlands is we're borrowing that whole concept of when you start a match, that the rule sets will be dynamic. So you may not always be able to use towers. You may not always be able to use spells. You may not always have the same enemies you're up against. And we're planning this mechanism where every time you start another match, whatever difficulty level, you're going to get kind of a different take of strategy. So it's not going to be just a formulaic, like, here's your map, you just defeat that. It's going to be, you need to have a full set of towers, and you need to have a strategy that you can work against or work without certain towers against certain strategies. So I think that's really exciting. David, how are you guys kind of concepting that idea of these dynamic rule sets, and how is that going to kind of work? And is that hard to do, or how confident do you guys feel we can pull this off?
Yeah, it's very hard to do because, as you can imagine, there's so many things that combine in terms of spells and towers and placements and all the different themes we have. So we're using big data, and we're actually going to be creating level tools that have what's called a Monte Carlo algorithm. It's basically playing the same game in every type of configuration hundreds of thousands of times. But of course, human designers have to go in there, look at the data, understand which towers are kind of overpowered or not. And that's really what's going to help us balance, along with a whole lot of just good old-fashioned playtesting. So, it's tough, but it's something that some of the designers in our team are familiar with and confident we can pull off.
Awesome. Thanks, David. So I was going to drop, let's see, I think I might have one more. I think I might have dropped all my art. So I think, yeah, we've got all the art out there. We definitely, like I said, we're going to be dropping a full post a little bit, and we'll announce that in the official channel as soon as we get that up for tower defense, including the pre-sale. And then we'll be dropping additional details. And like I said, we'll be talking about it at town halls as they come forward, but we'll also be looking to do a huge hour-long session at Splinterfest to really give you a deep dive into the new tower defense game. Really, really excited about this.
Yeah. So I guess David's asking if we sell out of the 250,000 packs pre-sale, that will be 2 billion DEC, but I don't think so. It's 1.25 billion.
Well, but also packs will be, it'll be like Chaos Legion packs where they'll be purchasable for DEC or credits. So it's just an additional product that will help, back DEC like we talked about in the past. But
And-
all the other little things in the game, like refreshing your ECR faster or getting those ingredients and all those different things, will be only DEC. So that's where that will come from.
So, I don't know. We have a lot of stuff that's coming, and that's kind of one of the themes that's in there. And as people are just sort of chatting away, the nice thing is that not every single piece of what we're describing is absolutely necessary. You don't need it to play. You don't have to play tower defense. You don't have to play RiftWatchers cards. These things are nice to haves. And we think, we think it'll bring a lot of like a different experience for you. If you like games that aren't just, let's play the Splinterlands match style and you're ready for a new type of game, then, tower defense is going to be a perfect like new experience to do within this ecosystem. And hopefully it's the first of several more that will be rolling out. And if, if you're looking to go spice up your deck, especially with some of the cards you might want in some of the higher level matches and give you, what is hopefully a small edge over your opponents, then hopefully RiftWatchers will be a good fit for you. And, there's like, I was frustrated, but we had like a small technical error on the validator nodes, but those rewards should be going live, we think, next week now. So maybe you'll say, hey, it's the validator nodes that I want and that I want to like have as part of my ecosystem. And so there's definitely a bunch of different ways to sort of engage the Splinterlands community and what assets you can have. One of the challenges that you'll probably never have enough, because that's just the nature of these things. But I also just want to make it clear that, you don't have to own all of them. Like not everything is mandatory. You can still play this game. You can still participate. Rental is going to be a thing. So if you need to, participate and be involved, but not necessarily, you don't need to literally sell a kidney. There are ways that, part of what we like about this ecosystem and economy is that you can have like the large asset holders and people that can whale up and they can rent to people that can't afford it. And I think that's part of what's so exciting about this is that, from the smallest minnow to the biggest whale, there's ways that everybody can participate.
Yeah, I just want to mention like about the validators. First of all, like Agrod mentioned, we were supposed to have the SPS rewards out in August. There were a few technical problems that came up, and it didn't get done in time. And I apologize for that. But it seems like at this point, pretty high confidence that will be live next week. But overall, so you understand what the validators are. I mean, in a lot of ways, we're pretty much building our own entire blockchain platform for this game and this ecosystem. So to say that it's a large project is an understatement. And then to add on to that, we're also trying to hot swap basically this new blockchain platform in with a currently running game. And I definitely extremely underestimated the difficulty of that whole process, earlier on when we were first starting to work on this. But it's getting really close, and we're just going through each issue one at a time as we kind of do tests, sort of hot swaps of switching SPS from the current system and vouchers and licenses over from the current system to this new blockchain platform that we're running. So I do apologize for the delays. I mean, it bothers me as much as anyone else here, being a large SPS and voucher owner. But I just wanted to put in perspective, like the kind of magnitude of that project.
Yeah. So, so you have a lot of options, and part of the balance to me is that, if we have a product backed stable coin, you have to have a fair amount of products that are available. And so we don't want it to be like, well, we'll have enough product to live for 10 years because that's too long and it's too hard to grind away at. And we don't want it where it's like super short and there's only like a handful of people that get it, and it's a total disadvantage to those that don't. So we're trying to find the right balance between, we want to have multiple products, we want to have multiple ways that you can participate, We want lots of different strategies, and having all those different strategies for participating is really important because it makes it harder for any one person to like really control the entire economy, right? You'd have to control all the nodes, you'd have to have all the cards, you'd have to have all the tower defense. Like it starts getting too hard if there's all these different ways that you have to engage. And so part of the balance of all this is that as a player, you have to figure out, what assets do I want to own? What assets do I want to play? What pieces do I want to participate in? And that card that Matt just dropped is a freaking badass. Freaking Dallin. Dallin looks sweet. All these RiftWatcher cards are just so gorgeous. So you're gonna have to, like, there's going to be frustration. Some people have said, like, I am completely FOMO resistant, and I don't believe you. We are all subject to FOMO, and we're all going to watch other people whaling up more than us in some of these games. And so my urge to everybody is to, like, plan out. And, especially with DEC under peg and with vouchers underneath their $3 total, there's still room for you to get some pretty sweet, discounts on these products. And I don't know how long the market's going to allow it. Maybe the economy in the world crashes and the deals get better, or maybe all the players will start buying up the discounts that are out and available. But, part of us thinking through, having multiple products is making sure that there's big enough DEC syncs and SVS syncs so that, we collectively can have nice things. So that all of that kind of goes into these complicated conversations around, how many products do we need? How much should we price them for? How much should go to the Splinterlands team for the business? And how much should go back to the DAO? How much should go back to the stakers? Like we try to go consider all of that in the sort of planning stages that we work through. And I want to emphasize, validator nodes are coming out, and we're still working on land. I mean, that's not like, us doing tower defense is not us abandoning land. I mean, what's really exciting to me is that double coconut makes it so that this is an additive experience for us. And that, yes, it will take some of Hardpoint's time and some of the support team, but, it's to put out a tower defense game with the double coconut team is going to be, far less strain on our company than it would have been if we tried to do this all internally while doing all the other things that we're doing. So pretty excited about having a whole other company to work with us and trying to get this arcade live and get other game modes. And again, we want to find a balance between, like, well, we want some new assets for sale. We got to get double coconut some revenue for helping to build this, but we also want to make sure that the old assets have value. So, we have these, like, different, there's different ways that we approach this, and we try to take all these things into consideration. And hopefully you guys don't go insane. Hopefully you're planning. Hopefully you plan in advance. We have RiftWatchers up, and you can see when that will become available for sale. Can you say again when we're going to do the tower defense sale? When do those packs go pre-sale?
September 20th is the goal. That's what we're shooting for right now.
Yeah, so you guys have, like, a little bit of warning, and we've been saying from the beginning you're going to want SBS and DEC and vouchers, and you should get them ahead of time. So hopefully you guys are planned and ready, and there's still more stuff coming, right? Like, Splinterlands isn't going to slow down. We're going to keep building new games and new products and making as much awesome stuff as we can as part of that. Okay. Other things that you guys want to share about tower defense? Have we reached sort of the highlights, or is there anything else that we missed?
I think the one other thing that I would just want to throw out last little bit about the pre-sale is we're going to have a closed beta towards the end of the year. And for purchases of 500 packs or more, you'll get exclusive access to the closed beta. So that's a little extra perk that Splinterlands is doing for our large purchasers. So we're really excited about that, and hopefully we'll be able to roll that out, and we'll be having a pretty fun Christmas time together playing something new.
Yeah. Double coconut guys, anything you guys want to add about the game or the spirit of working with us or experience with blockchain or just anything you guys want to share?
Yeah, I mean, so I know Matt a while ago, been great working with everyone. I think our whole team is enjoying it, and we look forward to genuinely working with the community too. And we'll try to share stuff, really get feedback, and really take to heart things to make it the best game we can.
Anything you want to share, Rob?
Oh, just reiterate what David said, that we're really excited. We've been making games for about 10 years, and this is probably one of the most exciting and really in-depth projects that we've worked on. So we're quite excited to be working with you guys and enjoyed the process so far, and looking forward to this fall.
I guess one other piece to consider is that my hope is that Double Coconut, they helped us build our mobile app, and they've Matt and David have known each other for a while. This to me is hopefully one of the first of these types of relationships, not the last. There's a lot of Web 2 studios that are out there in the world that are looking for ways to build onto Web 3 platforms. And I think that we have kind of this really great platform where we have all the tools that you need to make scalable blockchain games. And so I wouldn't look at this as being like, oh, here's the first and last game that will come to this ecosystem. To me, this is really like the first game, hopefully amongst many, that live on our own arcade, or that, there's other games that we're planning on rolling out, not just, Genesis League and Genesis League Soccer, but, in the future, there'll be social casino games and there'll be entertainment games. And there's other parts of this that we'll get to experience. And hopefully each one of these things will bring in a different audience and people that are really excited about it. So, I think Double Coconut is really being like the at the vanguard and helping us explore how do we get as many like game studios building in Web3 as we can, and how do we get them building here in our ecosystem, here on the Splinterlands platform, here where like the login, it will work for multiple games. So, okay, I want to, this is going to go a little bit into normal town hall now. So I kind of want to welcome on Chatter and WeirdBeard to see if there's anything that we missed. And then we have one introduction to make, and then I'm sure you guys are going to have like a billion questions. So let's get a couple quick updates and a fairly short introduction, and then let's go plow through and just answer a billion questions from the people. Chatter, what do you want us to think about? Like, what is the task of putting out messaging around this? What is the core message about all this? Like, how do we even frame this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. There's so much kind of packed into the past hour and 15 minutes here. I mean, the big thing that we would always love from users is really just kind of creating hype around this. I mean, as we share out press releases, as we share out feed posts, just kind of helping circulate the news around the ecosystem is always a great way to, one, help build a community, but two, just kind of keep hype around the game and make sure this project kind of really blows up. I think that's kind of the biggest ask from our side.
What would a good announcement look like to you? Like, if we put this out, like, who are you hoping picks this up? And are we seeing that, or are we, or are we just, whistling in the dark?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of all over the place as far as personas go. There's the kind of Web3 users that are already in Splinterlands, or the rest of the Web3 economy. We want to hit the kind of Web2 tower defense players or strategy players with this. We want to be able to say, hey, great, here's a new way to look at the game or get into the game for some of like the DeFi people in the Web3 space. Like, there's so many different crowds that we want to hit. And I think that's why kind of community enablement and just making sure the community is getting behind these announcements are so big and really kind of helping transcend that. Even with Genesis League Soccer, I mean, there's going to be some news coming about next week for GLS there. And I mean, even then we're going to this whole new wave of kind of soccer fans, which have never been in the Splinterlands ecosystem before. And there's going to be cross promotions, not necessarily interoperability right away or anything else, but as we bring in all these new kind of waves of personas and users, they're going to be starting to mingle throughout all of our different games. So the more we build, the bigger this entire kind of foundation is going to get here.
So, but when I looked at the press release channel, we had like a Yahoo News. Like that's a pretty well-read site, right? Like that counts as like pretty mainstream press. Is that your take? Do you feel like we're getting, are we just talking to our own little fishbowl here, or do you feel like we're getting outside of that?
Yeah, the press releases are a great way to get outside of it. I think what the press releases do a really good job of is kind of encapsulating the top level information. So, I mean, some of the announcements today, we've been seeing coverage from like Market Watch, Bazinga, Yahoo News. I think Bloomberg may have picked us up. Like we're getting huge names out there. So it's always great to see those people coming into the scene. I think what's missed out on a lot of the press releases, and again, this is kind of where I shine it back to the community, is being able to really show game experience and user experience throughout all these different projects is really the core thing that we want to start communicating. I know there's one post that was some guy who started out with $10 and turned that into a couple $1,000s, and that kind of makes its way through the circulations every once in a while, a couple times a year here. And that's always one of those really cool articles to see. So if anyone has any really cool stories of Splinterlands or any of other kind of upcoming projects here as time goes on, please let me know. We would love to do kind of more featured articles around that too. And I think going through those PR channels is a great way to be able to message kind of more of those unique stories as well.
All right. Anything else you want to share today, Chatter?
Only other things to mention, there's going to be the Splinterfest website, which will likely be up and live by end of week this week. That will have all ticket information, the full itinerary, and everything else. Big thank you to Sarah or Waffles Kitty for getting that done. We just need the green light from the rest of the team, and that will be going live. And then the other thing to talk about is just there's going to be a AMA tomorrow. That's going to be Bulldog, Gank, Luke, P2E, and one other, and Crypto Stash. So if you guys want to join that, that's going to be at 12:30 p.m. PST or 3:30 EDT tomorrow at the Twitter space. So if you guys want to join in, I just posted it in the Town Hall channel there, but I'll also make a little official announcements about that later on.
All right. WeirdBeard, sorry to keep you waiting for so long. Anything you want to share from the pits of Valhalla or Valhalla and anything else?
The pits is a pretty good description. We actually just the top line thing I wanted to highlight is we actually just finished our second most participated in tournament entries for the season, right? This previous season that just entered, we finished with 10,155 people competing in tournaments over the course of the season, which is pretty great. We've seen a pretty marked increase, especially over the past like month and a half since we did the jump over to Modern Wild. So ever since that's happened, we've seen more and more tournament adoption. Coming up next, once Cryptomancer makes his returns from his travels, we're gonna have some pretty cool things that are in the works there, and that I hope to be able to get cracking on. But just business as normal, getting people, to continue to enter into the tournaments. New tournaments will be going up later tomorrow for anybody that's interested.
All right. Well, at this point, I want to go introduce, I think I'm saying this right, Falowyn. He's on our QA team. Do you want to say hi and introduce yourself real quick? I can hear you. You're here. You're live. How did were you playing Splinterlands, or did you apply for this kind of like blind, or how'd you find us? Uh-oh. Whoops. All right. We just lost his audio and video in the stream. Sorry, guys. So we'll have to come back and check in with him. I guess let's go do a little bit of the some shout outs. And after the shout outs, we can check in on Falowyn and his audio. And then after that, let's just take questions. I know there's going to be 8 billion questions here. So as per normal, I'd like to welcome back Bootops back into the shout out category. That's super exciting. This guy has been like a rock, just chilling with Splinterlands TV. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I try to show up to as many shows as I can. I like to put in a couple like gifts from the Odic account. Odic is a Splinterlands owned account. It is not a personal account. And, you know, these are rewards cards and things like that that Splinterlands gets. And, you know, I dole some out to the different streams. I gave one stream, Ape of Wall Street got a gold foil Grum. And then others are getting, you know, some regular foil Liras and Eyes of the Fang, and, you know, just trying to get some like cool gifts. And hopefully you guys, especially the ones that are getting the shout outs today, you know, you guys are seeing that there's lots of opportunity for you, not only to like learn about the game and hang out with each other, but to actually like earn some rewards and have that be time well spent. So we got JM Pards in there. Olordo joins us again on the shout out list. We got Virus. I don't think I've seen Elephantium in this list before, but welcome there. Holazor, the homeless. He's the homeless because he's selling all of his assets to buy more Splinterlands assets. So he's a streamer, and so welcome, Holazor. Jester Gamer, Dragon, Downtown Detail. All of you guys, you know, there's like 8 of you that have earned your shout outs this week. And I just want to, you know, thanks for engaging in this content. You know, Splinterlands TV is pretty fun, and you just learn a lot and you get to meet your fellows. And I don't know, if you're sitting around wondering what to do, go to twitch.tv/Splinterlands TV, and you know, you'll generally be able to find a streamer. We got a clip of the week. Can you share that, Ron? Well, let's do the clip of the week to round out Splinterlands TV, and then we'll go back to Falowyn.
All right. Yeah. No, actually, we do have a clip of the week this week, and you know, this one right here. It was a pretty. What I really was. What impressed me about it was how heartfelt it was. How like just absolutely. You know, like these personal stories. It's Splinterlands TV isn't just about gameplay. It's also about the streamers, and it's about their stories and about where they came from, their experiences. And I think this clip of the week actually encapsulates that perfectly. So let's go ahead and get that going. Once I made too many scenes. Here we go.
Oh boy, man. I hope all of you are, you know, had an okay end of season, that your rewards were at least, you know, you got one chest that was kind of cool. It's really fun when you pull something amazing. I can't believe how much SPS I've won in the last few days. I got a 2,000 and a 20. Wow. It's just mind-boggling. Sometimes this game can be just pretty amazing. And I've been on a losing streak, guys. So I have, you know, 40,000 locked up in Celsius. I got hacked for 5K and then another 1K on Polygon because I'm an idiot. And the one thing I do right is play Splinterlands. And it's probably the easiest thing to do, right?
Yeah, who hasn't had a loss doing something else or doing something dumb in crypto? Man, I know I've probably my worst is sending 7,000 Steam into like the middle of nowhere at one point. That was probably my dumbest. Back when Steam was worth something.
Oh man, was that one of those late night transfers?
Yeah, that was the one that made me say I'm never doing a late night transfer again. I don't care. I don't care. Like unless my business is about to implode because the only human on the planet that can send it is me, and it needs to be right that minute. I'm not sending it. No way. No, I hear a high pitched squeal.
Yeah, someone's vacuuming.
Sorry, I'll mute myself.
Less vacuuming on there. Okay. I think that's it for for that, what I think I want to do, we're going to hold off on like the earlier questions. Let's just go with whatever questions are in here now. You know,
You want to talk to Falowyn first?
Oh yeah, we got to talk to Falowyn. Thank you, Falowyn. Are you there?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
All right. I can. Can the audience hear him? Are you guys able to hear our buddy there? You got to wait, Icy Flow. I got to hold off. All right, we're getting some yeses. All right, so Falowyn, who are you? What do you do? Let's start that again.
I'm Bray. I'm the new QA lead here at Splinterlands. I started a couple months ago. I come with a lengthy background in the video game industry, a little bit over 12 years at Blizzard Entertainment, and then a whole bunch of other game studios since. Yeah.
And so you, what made you move from like, you know, Blizzard is a giant corporation. Why did you leave Blizzard to come work for, you know, a mid-sized company like ours in the blockchain space? What about that was an appealing shift?
Well, Blizzard was quite some time ago. I've been in a bunch of game studios since then. So, you know, Blizzard had a mass layoff that I got caught in. They've had a couple since, actually.
But okay, but even still, I mean, there's other giant, like big game studios, Web 2 studios, you know, AAA platforms. If you've been doing this for 20 years, you know, what was appealing about working at Splinterlands in the Web 3 space?
There's a lot more of a healthy environment in a studio like this, where you get to interact with everybody and it's not stratified socially.
Okay. So what do you like, what's the life of QA? What does that even mean? You know, like how, if somebody experienced your work, you know, what would they feel or what would they not feel?
QA is a lot of database management, dealing with making sure that everything that the development team is working on actually functions before it goes live to the public.
Yeah. And so, you know, like if somebody was really experiencing your work, they just wouldn't experience bugs, right? Like you would have already caught them, you would have already found them. And, you know, by the time that the software rolled out, the little tweaks had already been caught.
I wouldn't go that far. We don't have a huge QA team. There's still always going to be bugs in any product that gets released. But
so maybe just fewer bugs.
At least, you know, the most egregious issues we've hopefully found and been able to identify, push that back out to the development team to be able to say, oh, whoa, we don't want this out going live. So let's fix that before we, you know, put it through to QA again. Okay, finally we have something that works. Now let's send it to the live environment.
So what do they like? When you're doing this gig, are you communicating with players? Are you communicating with devs? Like who are you interacting with?
I'm mostly interacting with the development staff. Very rarely would I have any player interaction. I'm also working with the rest of the QA team and also support. Sometimes support will step in, especially if we have a particularly large patch coming down the pipeline, and they help out and help us get the product tested and complete for the live environment. And
does this feel like, is it a much different gig here than it is at the AAA studios? Or do you, is like Web3 a lot different? Does this company make it a lot different?
There are some aspects of it that are different. But for the most part, I've been having a really good time with it. The people here are exceptionally friendly. And that isn't always the case at every game studio. So that's always a huge plus. Also, this studio has a great perk package and really cares about the employees and their experience. So I've been pretty grateful about that too.
That's good to hear. All right, I want to get to questions. Is there any last kind of thing you'd like to share, or some sort of experience, shout out, or whatever? I mean, I try to keep these really open. Anything you want to leave the audience with?
Oh, I just want to say I'm really grateful for the QA staff that I started with Kamal, and I'm grateful for the production staff that has been great at keeping me up to date with what's going on with upcoming material, and of course grateful to the support team for whenever we have large patches stepping up and helping out to make sure that we're able to get large content drops tested within the time frame that we have.
Sweet. Okay, well, we have 29 minutes remaining, so let's go. Just open this up. Whatever you guys want to ask, keep it PG. But I'm just open ear questions. So when tower defense on mobile? So are you, David, Rob, are you guys planning mobile for the tower defense game?
No, I actually let them log off. They have to head on out. But no, we are starting in mobile. We are going to be mobile friendly, but actual mobile app that will come later, depending on the success of the product.
Okay. Sim Sahas is asking, RiftWatchers, will bonus counts count towards a benchmark for the Watcher title and guaranteed gold foil promo pack? Also, will you get the title for every 1,000 packs purchased? Meaning buying 2,000, will you get the title twice?
Well, no. So promo packs won't count for the title and the guaranteed gold foil. So it has to be like the 100 or 1,000 purchased. And then if you buy 2,000s, you will get it twice.
Cool. Icy Flow is asking, are there changes to the rating system coming? Suggesting short term have the rating reset to the bottom of the current league. Long term, go to a rating system similar to chess.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're like planned changes that are coming, but that's always something that we're looking at. I mean, and some of the problems we have to consider is like, if you only drop down to the bottom of the current league, is that a problem that it would take? I assume that means from like the top of the league down to the bottom. Not if you're at the bottom of the league, you would still drop down. So then, like if players wanted to drop down, that would take, potentially multiple seasons or whatever. And then if we change, when you say a rating system similar to chess, I assume that means like just straight ELO without like win streak bonuses. And that's obviously going to change like a whole bunch of things in the game economy. So like we're definitely like thinking about those, but there's like all sorts of knock-on effects that we have to, take into account. So I don't have like a timeline or say that that's like coming soon, but it is on the radar.
Richard, how many, when I buy a tower defense pack, what comes in that?
So there's going to be 5 cards, which will be made up of 25 spells and 25 different towers. So there's a total of 50 different items that you could get randomly, and there's different rarity levels as well, and different foils. So there'll be a regular foil and a gold foil, similar to Splinterlands. But yeah, five items is right now what we're planning.
Question: Will Splinter charge staking for Splinterlands and tower defense be separate, or will Splinterland staking count for tower defense? If separate, will tower defense staking of SPS be counted for governance voting and the same earning? How are we handling staking of SPS in regards to multiple games?
I think the initial plan is that it will just be the SPS you have staked, so you don't need to do anything different with it. It's just do you have it staked in your account? So it'll still be used for governance and earning. I think at some point in the future, if we have like a bunch of different games, there may be an option to like pick games and stake certain amount of SPS in those games, and then so you can't use the same SPS for across every game. But they would still all count for governance voting and regular earnings.
Barbara was asking, will towers be staked on Splinterland's land? I don't think that's the current plan, but
no. Then one thing that the community would probably appreciate knowing is that tower defense is actually supposed to be a game within the game. So the way in the immersion factor of the game, you are a battle mage in your home playing a tower defense game in the universe. So it's not like the towers are seen as regular entities in the world at this point.
Question: will there also be guaranteed cards for the later airdrop cards? What will be the number? So I think he's asking how many packs do I need to buy in order to guarantee that I'll get some of these airdrops, either for a tower defense and for RiftWatchers.
Yeah, we haven't calculated that yet. Definitely not for tower defense, but also for RiftWatchers. We'll release that information as soon as it's figured out.
Okay. The chart that was shared showing the breakdown of rewards to different leagues, can that be made available periodically? Sure. As Splinterlands Inc. expands and develops new third-party partnerships, what current systems plan contingencies does the team have for protecting an ongoing operation of game assets, card, SBS, DEC, land, from potential future disruptions, liabilities, and/or disputes arising from these partnerships? I mean, that's like a pretty complicated legal kind of question. But we work with maybe 6 different law firms as we go and put these things out. So a lot of that comes down to like contract negotiation. EVT is asking, how will you be avoiding 1 second sellout of the RiftWatcher presale, or is it fastest finger first? Is that the plan?
I mean, generally that's where the vouchers come in. They kind of worked well in the past for that. Maybe they won't this time. But we'll see what we can do as we actually build the presale mechanic to put in some limitations.
All right. Will card abilities matter in the tower defense game? So if I stake, do I just need to stake a card, or do we think that staking a card of a certain type will have an impact?
The plan is a little bit TBD, but we have an idea of matching up splinters and different types of magic and having different combinations. So yeah, the team is exploring complexities there and how we could really allow the player to have a lot of strategy around what cards to stake.
And does that include a difference between summoners and monsters?
Right now, no difference between the two, but TBD on that.
All right. Chance is asking, would Double Coconut continue developing the tower defense game with 30 plus of their 75 employees? Are there concerns around the Splinterlands mobile app development? Seems like the Splinterlands mobile app, which already needs a lot of upgrades to bring it current, will see less attention than it gets now.
Well, they have a dedicated team that's working on the mobile app, so this is totally separate.
Joey, when SBS rewards for brawls, will upgrades still be gated behind the formidable wall that is crowns, or are there plans to make upgrading easier, faster? So,
yeah, I mean that's Cryptomancer's department. He's been traveling for a while, so like things are going a little slower there. But I think he is working at some amount while he's gone. I think he's going to be back pretty soon, or and then those things will start coming out, when he's available. But I think we're not planning to change the upgrades being gated by crowns, but overall, I think there's a plan to look at the overall economy and see how quickly different guilds and different levels are earning crowns, how we can encourage guilds to move up to higher tiers or higher arena levels, which will earn more crowns. And all that stuff.
So we got this question: can we farm things on land to use in the tower defense game as well as in Splinterlands itself? Are there any? Have you started thinking about crossover between land and tower defense?
Yeah, so like I was saying, right now there's no plans to have a crossover because the game is actually a game within a game. So, but I'm not saying that there won't be some consideration in the future. But right now we're seeing it as this is like a board game in the world.
If Splinterlands cards are playable in the tower defense game, will the cards from the tower defense game packs be playable in Splinterlands? Sounds like a no. Like you can't use a tower in a battle.
Yeah, no.
Questions: are all tower defense assets tradable?
Spells, towers, and heroes will be tradable, but ingredients will not.
Are there plans to make tower defense PvP, allowing players to spend some of their resources to upgrade the waves being sent to the player, etc., and see who lasts the longest?
Yeah, we definitely want to do co-op PvP. We have a lot of different ideas. If the game is successful, we have a lot of plans on the roadmap, which I shared earlier. It'll also be out with the post. You can kind of see some of our ideas on there.
Will there be any airdrop for the tower defense stuff?
No, I mean, because it's already, we're using our existing tokens. So this is already, we're basically bringing value to those tokens by adding more entertainment on top of our existing platform.
Will the number of packs required increase for MavChat? I don't think so. Quantum Nachos, any updates on GLS pre-sale release? Anything we want to say on that today? Hardpoint?
Nah, I don't think so. Not yet. Still what we've announced is still what we're trying to do.
Okay. Fat Jimmy's asking, will Splinterlands have a fully attendable schedule, or we have to pick and choose events, presentations happening simultaneously? He's asking about Splinterfest here. Chatter, anything you want to say about the schedule?
Yeah, so it's all going to be one event at a time, so you're not going to be missing out. There's also going to be planned time for breaks, grabbing lunch, kind of so on and so forth there.
Can we build a town hall question thing that has staked SPS voting? Maybe. Let's vote on that. Question: is the only way to mine a gold monster or summoner with a fully developed, leveled up gold splinter card when land drops?
I don't think we've gotten into all the details of exactly how that works yet.
When can we expect the SPS player staking reward system?
Yeah, I think we've already started, like Pluck on the kind of economy and data team has already started looking into how we can do like an interim system before like the full system is ready. One of the things we've kind of been waiting for is for the validators to go live, which will introduce SPS delegation. I know that's obviously been taking longer than we had planned. So we're kind of looking at how we can do like an interim solution that doesn't get to like the full thing that we talked about in the white paper, but just something there so that staked SPS directly affects rewards in the meantime.
Question: since proposal 34 passed, when do we see it implemented?
As soon as we can finish the development of it. So the developer who's been working on the SPS rewards for the licenses is the one slated to work on that. So that's why it's been a little bit delayed. But the real hope is that the SPS rewards for licenses will be out and live next week. And so I'm hoping we'll see the proposal 34 change out before the end of the month.
Cool. Question: will we still have a large win trading bot farm operation that spans across multiple seller accounts with multiple feeder accounts? Is there any sort of initiative to stop this from happening?
Well, I mean, I guess win trading, yeah, we've been had an initiative to stop that from happening for a long time, and we have a mechanism for like identifying any accounts that are win trading so that they don't get matched against each other. And if I think a lot of that is helpful if the community reports these things. And if that's not happening, if there's win trading happening and it's not being addressed, well, that's a problem, and we need to do that.
Okay. Dave McCoy is asking, now that the league bracket proposal has passed, I believe you have fixed the issue for the top players. Can you change giving out the starter cards for free to non-new players, or at least put it up to a proposal and let the community vote on it? Change giving out the starter cards for free.
Yeah, I think, Dave, I think you messaged me about that, and I was away, so I saw it and probably didn't get a chance to respond. Again, one of the reasons we allow everyone to use the starter cards for free all the time is just to ensure like that no matter what, if you ever go into a battle, you will have the cards, like you can actually play the battle, and you don't just come up with like a blank screen and you can't even do anything. That may not be something like we have to do or whatever, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of considerations there. And I'd also ask, like, I'd say let's talk about it off the call or off the town hall.
Okay. Moving down, Mega Bloop at 537. Are we getting a 2x speed button in the tower defense? This is crucial.
We're gonna have all three, including a skip. So if you don't want to watch it at all, you can skip the whole thing, or you can watch it in a faster mode.
Empathy at 538 is asking, additionally, Promotions such as airdrops may provide increased chances of receiving airdrop cards and or gold foil versions of the card based on the number of SPS tokens the player has staked in their account. This is in the white paper. Will it eventually come into play?
It's not, I mean, it's still, we haven't discussed it, but it's definitely, if it's in the white paper, we'll be thinking about it. And when we start implementing staking for SPS rewards, that's coming, right, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, again, it says may provide, so it was an idea that we had. It hasn't been implemented yet, but it definitely, like, any option to use SPS and probably like voucher tokens, which is like a proxy for SPS stake days, to like give benefits, we want to do. But like, it's also a matter of how much can we do and also get things out in a timely manner.
Is BCX going to matter for the tower defense card staking? Meaning, will I get more benefits for staking a higher level card than a lower level card?
Yeah, that's what we would like to do. We want to see a better rarity, older cards, and higher level BCX actually matter. So I think you will see a difference there.
The Joker is asking at 539, do bonus packs count towards all other airdrops after the presale and RiftWatchers? Just asking to clarify, because for the Chaos Legion bonus packs were counted as packs purchased for the presale, the title and all the other airdrops.
Yeah, I guess I thought it was the other way around. So I'll say let's get back to everyone on that. I don't want to just, I guess, say the wrong thing potentially.
Okay, April Wall Street at 542 is asking question: can we change the position from credit SBS on the website to credit DEC since ECR is under SBS now? Credit Dark Energy Crystals SBS on the website to credit Splinter Shards DEC. I guess he just wants to move DEC and Splinter Shards to different spots on the website.
I mean, I guess not something I'd really considered, but we can look at if that's helpful.
Is Aggie still planning to make us waffles with bacon? I would love to make waffles with bacon at Splinterfest. I'm not sure that we know how to do that because of like food, like health. What is it? Health Commission, Health Board of Health stuff. So I definitely want to. We're still trying to figure that out. Other questions. Marcus is asking at 546. Could it be possible to show the number of players of each league so players can find out where to earn the most SPS per battle?
Yeah, I don't see why not. That's a good idea. I mean, also you should be able to, I know there was a bug there. I don't know if it was fixed, but like see that the earnings, if you look at the top battles in each league, it looks like that's still showing 0, but that's one Falowyn. If you want to get that, if you're listening and want to get that on the list to fix, you should be able to look at the top battles for each league and each format and kind of see what the earnings are. All right, cool.
You tried too hard as saying, is there a time horizon for when starter cards will be changed out? I think
you mean for like newer editions?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just when Rebellion is released, then Untamed should move out of modern format, and the starter card should switch also.
Yeah, I guess I should add the question of when RiftWatchers comes out, will that remove dice, or will dice still be present?
No, it won't remove dice because dice sort of goes along with Untamed. So dice will move out when Untamed moves out, I believe, when Rebellion launches.
Okay. When are the node SPS rewards coming? They were supposed to be today. There was a technical glitch, so now it's going to be, we think, in the next launch, which will be a week from today. Bonus packs. Question: having low mana and one rule set battles in bronze makes it harder for real players to beat bots because you can't use better cards and there's much less strategy. Can we put up a community proposal to raise mana levels in bronze and always use 2 rule set battles above novice? I think this could significantly help new players.
Yeah, I think so, especially because, as we're adding in more higher mana cards, I think there's more opportunity to do that. Overall, I think we definitely need like to take a focus on just the lower league experience. I think we talked about this on one of the previous town halls. Like right now, we're focusing on getting kind of the whole economy working with SPS and DEC and all that. And then after that, I think it's going to be time to like shift and put this big focus on new player experience, you know, lower league experience, all that stuff, and that's a big part of it.
Lewis 88 is saying, will the leaderboard reward be replaced from DEC to SPS soon?
Yeah, probably. That just didn't get into our initial thing. That was just a lower priority. So we'll have to. I mean, I think overall, I wanna take like an overview of the leaderboard rewards and see how we could maybe do that differently. There were some cool suggestions, like everyone in the top 100 spots in the leaderboard might get entered into an anytime tournament for that league, and that's how the actual rewards would be given out. That was a cool idea. There's also some other cool ideas that might just be better than the current system. So I'd like to do more work on that.
Dream Rider's asking at 550, will the tower defense game have its own token to earn and or its own governance token? How often is the team planning on releasing new card sets? Is there going to be side sets like RiftWatchers for Splinterlands?
No.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, you go ahead, Matt. No, go ahead, Matt.
Okay. Yeah, no new token and not its own governance token. Again, it's like it's a sort of not a mini game in the sense that it's smaller, but it's another game within the Splinterlands world. So the SPS token will be the governance token for that, and the earnings token. And then as far as releasing new card sets and will there be side sets and all these things, you know, a lot of that's we're gonna figure that out once the game launches and we kind of see how these things go. It's really hard to just like decide all that stuff ahead of time, not knowing at all how this stuff is gonna work out.
All right, let me go up a little bit. I just said no more questions here. Question: is there titles for RiftWatchers or the tower defense game? We have the Watcher. Was there another one for tower defense?
Yeah, I don't know if we decided to do a title for tower defense, so we'll.
I think we were planning on it. Yeah, we're planning on doing a title for tower defense. We just haven't picked it yet.
But for RiftWatchers, it will be the Watcher if you buy 1,000 packs or more during the pre-sale.
That Jimmy's asking, since quality of life suggestions are being tossed around, can we please get always on in-game notifications in the menu bar when action is needed for brawls and tournaments, and ditch the side banners?
Yeah, I agree. I miss my tournament stuff if I didn't get Discord notifications from my guild. So I think that's a good quality of life suggestion.
Ron is asking, is a lore canon in tower defense?
So tower defense is a game in a game right now. So like, yes, we're trying to make it that way, but all the different towers and all the spells, it's like you're playing a board game. So kind of doesn't matter at some level, but you'll see as we drop it.
Tilly Tots, will the tower defense NFT be combinable like Splinterlands to make them better? And if so, how many will be needed to max them?
TBD, but yes, they will be combinable.
Sweet. Okay. So Matt, you now have some eye candy to share with us because we all want to see. I think you were doing some summoners. Is that correct?
Yeah. And not eye candy. Nate does eye candy. I'm doing stat candy.
Stat candy.
The actual images are all, you know, the graphics are courtesy of the creative team, of course. So give me a second because I was too busy talking and not totally prepared. So.
Yeah, we have about
to talk about some stuff for a minute, and I'll be ready.
We got about 6 minutes left. We have a little bit of stat candy. I don't know. I guess I would just kind of go at the high level of like you guys have been presented with tons of things, and you know it used to be, hey guys, when are you going to get your next thing out? And now it's something like, holy crap! Every time I turn around, something is changing. And I hope you guys can just appreciate what Hardpoint and the development team and the creative team have been able to kind of put together in terms of like producing new content. We all got back together in February, and since then, these things have been like very rapidly increasing. And man, I'm pretty stoked because I feel like there's just a lot more content. And I know that can be a little bothersome if you're like, oh God, I don't have money to buy all the things. But honestly, nobody has money to buy all the things. You know, it's like there's millions of dollars of products being released. We don't expect any one person to own all of it. Oh yeah, I gotta say, Neil is coming on after this for the Monster Maverick show. Really excited to see that, and hopefully he'll talk about. I forget the name of the show, but I always think of it as Neil McSpadden Between the Sheets, and maybe he'll go fully node this time too. We'll see. Monster Maverick show. Okay, so Matt's starting to drop this. We got Aquatus, and what's that? That's the
Backfire.
The oh, that's Backfire. Sorry.
So you go with a high speed team, maybe some phase in there, and then every time an enemy misses, it'll take 2 damage.
Okay.
So get some slows in there. That'll help. Am I doing all the summoners? Should I save
let's
some?
do it.
All the
No. Let's burn through.
Burn through. All right.
Scargor.
There you go. So a lot of enraged fire splinter cards there. So you can use a lot of those big melee guys, maybe some, the Grums of the world.
Yeah, enrage is fun.
Yeah. And let's see here. We have Ilthane, I think is how you pronounce it. So with return fire on all monsters and +1 speed.
Yeah, there's not a lot of speed on the life team, so that's fun to see.
And also we felt like return fire was a little weaker than some of the others. So that helped there. Definitely good in certain rule sets, maybe against the new Fernheart Earth Summoner. And then last but not least, we have one that's even hard. They get harder to pronounce, I feel like, as we go along.
Thithba?
Yeah. It gives you a lisp just trying to say it.
I had a lisp growing up. This is like a nightmare for me. Thithba?
Yeah, so it's going to give phase, which means that all of your cards will be able to dodge magic attacks.
So you're gonna have to say Thithba will give you faith.
Yes.
That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
maybe that was an inside joke in the creative team. I can be blamed for the names of like the alpha cards. There is death. We sent death before, but I will send it again for those of you who missed it. There you go.
Sweet. Okay, guys. So we're down to the final 2 minutes. There's been a ton of stuff released. You have so much to absorb. If you're planning on buying, the tower defense packs, or if you want to get into RiftWatchers, I would tell you the market is providing you some pretty big discounts right now on both DEC and SBS. And I would encourage you guys to go pick those things up. And be ready, because you don't know, maybe there will be bigger discounts, maybe the economy will implode, or it's entirely possible that this community is going to start eating away at the discounts that are provided. So I would tell you, if you want a 33% discount on buying the tower defense stuff, I would tell you pick up some dark energy crystals. And if you are looking forward to getting a discount on the RiftWatchers, then you're definitely going to want to pick up vouchers before they're like, the full $3.
Yeah, I just want to mention about the cripple. The plan is also to fix cripple. Cripple is not intended to be able to be cleansed, in the sense that I think of cripple as less of like some magic effect that has been cast on a monster, to more like you got hit with a big darn hammer and your bones are actually broken. So cleanse wouldn't like remove that, because it's not a spell effect. So that is a bug, I guess, that we intend to fix before the card goes live.
All right. So you guys have tons to think about. We have new products coming. We have more announcements coming in the wings. This is the start of our development roadmap busy season, and things are going to be nuts around here for the next 6 to 8 weeks. hang with us, and push and shove, get what you can, and try to plan for it in advance so you're not going crazy at the last minute. The earlier you can get in, the more that you can, solidify the discounts that you're going to get. I think the easier it is to go plan around how much you want to spend and how you can regulate your own finances. So thanks to everybody. Please stick around. If you're not on twitch.tv/Splinterlands TV, please go check that out. And, go watch the Monster Maverick show with Neil McSpadden. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here.